This is Lynn, a DPS Pyro resonance weapon user whose proficiency is in dual pistols and greatswords. Some just basic notes about Lynn and her abilities before we get into her. This is Deadly Blossom, which applies laceration, which can stack up to 10 times from range damage. When you reach 10 stacks, or if we wait 8 seconds, it'll apply damage based off the number of stacks. And this is pretty good for just ragdolling enemies in general. It has good range. It's kind of a cone effect. Now her second ability is Gunpowder Revelry, where she pulls out Hansel and Gretel, allows her to auto-target enemies within her FOV. Does have to be facing the direction of the enemies. Now this gives her attack speed stacks, which goes up to 35 stacks, and it works off of her passive when not firing range damage. As you can see, we're building up those stacks. It'll give her a damage boost for 7 seconds. So if we just fire, now we have 7 seconds of that boost. So that's what that symbol at the bottom of the screen is implying. So she's amazing for farming stages pretty rapidly. Now looking at Lynn's demon wedges, we have this is the mid-game build that you could use. The important thing is I did use a track shift module, just showcasing all of the demon wedges that we have here. You can pause and look at each of these if you don't know what they are. Now the important one is Ifrit's Devouring Wildfire, which costs 24 tolerance to use, but it does stack up to 120 stacks, giving her essentially 120% attack boost, 15 seconds, and a 30% skill damage boost. This is probably one of the most optimal demon wedges to use mid-game. Just showing where you get that, it's the level 65 Nocturnal Manual Wild Swarm Phantom. Now something to note, I do have another build here that you could utilize if you don't have those mid-game demon wedges. This is more basic, like early build that you can use. The important thing is having Blaze +5, try to get the purple one. This is just skill efficiency, attack, max sanity, and skill damage and skill range. So you can maintain Hansel and Gretel much easier, and I'll show what I have on Hansel and Gretel in a second, but I will leave community codes of these builds in the video description down below, so you can just copy and paste if you have these all upgraded. Just note you need to have this track shift module or Ifrit's Devouring Wildfire to work if you're level 60 on Lynn. Now just to demonstrate something, we have Blaze +5. So I just want to show, if we remove Blaze +5, this is our damage. If I add Blaze +5 back, our damage on Hansel and Gretel has gone up. Now, before I show what I put on Hansel and Gretel, you will need to get some of these RC demon wedges from Mystic Maze. I recommend that you clear Mystic Maze every week to get some of these resonant weapon demon wedges, as there are the purple rarity here. Now you could use the blue because the default isn't so great. These are what you would start off, and this weapon's not exactly the greatest crit weapon. If I remove the crit chance, it's about 12% base, which is not too great if we're increasing it by 10%. So for a better higher end build, you can use anything attack related, multi-shot related. Attack speed is great, and then just attack itself. And this is a mid-game build, so when I have gold rarity demon wedges, I'll make another video for Lynn when we can actually showcase what it should look like at endgame. Now looking at two weapons that you need on Lynn, this is Ironforger, which isn't the greatest weapon to use on her, as it has a crit chance in it, and then when dealing damage to this weapon, it increases 2.1% to increase the combo level to a maximum. It's not amazing, but it is a easy to get greatsword early on. And then there's Bluecurrent Pulse, which is very optimal, increases the dual pistol damage by 45% for 15 seconds. So I will showcase that before we go to the demon wedges. As you can tell, we don't have that buff at the bottom of the screen, but if I fire these pistols, we now actually have another buff. But you actually have to deal damage to the enemies for that buff to work. And as you can tell, our damage is around 10k now. In the earlier video, we were not reaching 10k damage on Hansel and Gretel. So this is a pretty important effect. Now looking at demon wedges on Ironforger, we have Focus, Rage, Validity, Threshold, Services Threshold, Impetus, Rage, Trommel, Edge, because I couldn't reach 80 tolerance. So this is the starter edge, the really low tier edge. Probably won't go beyond level 60 enemies, but it's doable for this. Another good option now with Bluecurrent Pulse, which is an excellent weapon early on for her. You actually unlock this at Trial Rank 43. We focus on multi-shot, crit chance. These actually have relatively high crit chance, crit damage, and attack. There might actually be a better dual pistol. Espresso Duo, which provides 24% skill damage, which is probably more consistent when you use Hansel and Gretel. But also, it does require trial rank 51. At Smell 5, they actually provide 48% skill damage. That seems pretty powerful in Hansel and Gretel. Probably better than the other dual pistols, just because in this case you don't actually have to use the pistols, you just have to equip them to get the skill damage. Now I really want to emphasize this. You probably want Lynn at the very least for immersive theater, and that's because in Immortal Repertoire we have an unfortunate recommended element system. It says it recommends Pyro and Arrow, and if you don't know, this is the chart of weaknesses. It's about 400% increased damage against those who are weak to those elements, and if not, non-advantaged elements is reduced by 50%. So you're going to want to have pyro damage. And another unfortunate thing about this Immortal Repertoire for Psyche is this: Defense Variation Sniper's Honor. Enemies take 80% less damage. This reduction diminishes by 2% each time they take damage from a ranged. How unfortunate. There's also Algro Agitator. Predator's Instinct. Increase all allies' ranged weapon damage by 50%. So it does seem kind of necessary to get Lynn in this case. On a side note, Lynn is also great for farming the Psyche boss fight, which also applies to Immortal Theater. That's because Chrysalis of Broken Dreams, Lynn can just target all the wings at once, ensure the sky, and your job's done. Easy time farming Rhythm, who eventually will probably get replaced by another character if they keep up the system they're doing. Psyche pretty easy. So Lynn's definitely a character worth investing in, and thankfully you can get her from the shop. You can get Lynn from the shop pretty early on. I believe it's trial rank 34. So if you're already mid-game, you probably already have access to her. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I do DNA streams once a week and on Twitch, so if you have any questions, check out the stream or leave a comment. Let me know what you want to see, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.